The Vatican, especially under Pope Francis, had a particular line on immigration. And if I was, I try to interpret this stuff charitably because, partially because I'm a new Catholic, but partially just because I try to sort of stay in my lane. I'm the vice president of the United States and, the Pope is the Pope. What I try to interpret charitably is I think the Catholic Church recognizes we have to have border control. We have to have the ability to control the borders of our own country. That's very clearly written in Catholic teaching, is that nations are allowed sovereignty. They're allowed to control their own borders. However, it's always useful to remind ourselves that a lot of the people who have come into our country, they're struggling in some way. They're human beings.
Yes.
And even though we have to engage in immigration enforcement, I try to remind myself, consistent with church teaching, that yes, doesn't mean we can let these people stay in our country, but I do have a responsibility to try to remember their humanity. And that's sort of my charitable interpretation is, yes, you can have your border policy. Yes, you can enforce your borders. You also have to try to remind that all 8 billion people who are alive on this planet are God's creatures. We have to owe them a certain respect and a certain dignity. Doesn't mean we should let them illegally immigrate into our country.